Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Susie and my channel is The Small Art Society, and today I'm going to be doing a sketchbook tour of a sketchbook that I received, that I purchased in 2021, and I actually had a whole kind of a thing that happened to me when I ordered the sketchbook, because I ordered it off Amazon. It's a Paul Rubens sketchbook, and it's 100% cotton watercolor paper in hot pressed, which is interesting because I prefer cold pressed. I don't remember why I purchased the hot pressed version. It might be that it was the only one available at the time, I'm not sure. And I actually received a version that wasn't made correctly. I'm not sure if you can probably see there a bit better. It just wasn't very good quality, and it wasn't kind of glued in appropriately, as you can see. And that actually caused other issues with like the spine and things like that. And it's a little bit crooked. It's not a huge deal, but you can kind of see that the sketchbook kind of goes off to one side. But you know, at that point in time, purchasing a sketchbook, I think I paid maybe about £16 for this, which might not seem like much to some people, but at the time I was still a full-time student and kind of working part-time, and so it was a big expense for me at the time, like investing in my art. And I was really upset about that, and I let Amazon know that there was kind of an issue with the sketchbook, and they were really kind and refunded me the cost of the purchase. So I ended up getting the sketchbook at no cost in the end, although I was, happy to pay for it, but I was really unhappy with the way that it kind of, the way that I received it. I would have been fine with an exchange, but they kind of just refunded me. And so what I'm going to do is take you guys through this. I'm going to kind of just skip over the first page because it's just some doodles and it's got my contact information, which I like to put in case, I lose things. And so this started in 2021, and you can, by the time we get to the end of the sketchbook, you'll see how my art has really progressed in that time. I remember this was a time in my life where, like I said, I was still a full-time student, and it was really, really difficult to find time to kind of fit art in. And I really struggled with fitting art in while I was a full-time student, because it just seemed like, my attention needed to be focused on other things at the time, and I was also working part-time. So I started drawing just some of the things around me in my daily life. This is a corner of the coffee table that we had at the time. There was the Scrabble underneath. There was a book, big book on the top. I can't remember what book that was, and our Xbox controller. And then this is what the TV set looked like at the time. And it's really funny because the proportions are all off of this. And I actually got lazy towards the end of drawing this, and there were 3 little tubs at the bottom of the television, but I got lazy and I decided not to include that 3rd one. I was kind of just trying to draw the things around me. And then at one point I was just really frustrated with like not feeling inspired to draw like what I could. And so I decided to just do some doodles. And at this point I was still using both sides of the paper, but as we kind of move on in the sketchbook, I started just doing things on one side of the paper. Now this paper has perforations. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I like that if I wanted to, I could take something out of this sketchbook basically, but it does mean that I'm less likely to, like, as I moved on in the sketchbook, I was less likely to paint on the back of a page because I knew that I might want to take it out and do something with it. This is a very quick sketch I made of our cat Phoebe when she was laying down. She's a beautiful little gray cat. She's got white paws and white milk stains on her face, and she's just the cutest little thing. If you have seen any of my other videos, you may have seen her. There's a chance you may hear her today because she's around. But yeah, I call her like my biggest muse, really, because a lot of what I paint is Phoebe, because she's just around and she's so cute, and I like painting her from life. This was a painting that or like a little page in the sketchbook that I never actually finished. Again, we have Phoebe. Phoebe was sat on top of a couple books, and it was really cute, and I got this kind of quick sketch done. And we had the television on, and she was watching the television really intently, which is why I started drawing her. She was kind of still in one spot for a long time. And we actually had an episode of Family Guy on it. I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick up on it, but I had drawn out like Lois, and I was gonna do a whole kind of like actual like scene of the television, but I ended up erasing it because it just felt like a bit too much at the time. So these are all things that, you know, 2021, probably 2022 or 2021, definitely 2022. This was definitely 2022. And then this was probably around October of 2024. I have a page that was taken out here. I cannot for the life of me remember what I painted on that or why I took it out. But this is something that I really picked up art again, really kind of purposefully from August of 2024. And in October, I decided to, you know, really have a go at like painting in a lot of the supplies that I already owned. And I tried painting I think it's a European street scene from an image I found on Pinterest. I did make a TikTok of it, and I'll see if I can include it here. If not, I'll add a link to it, and I might upload it to YouTube as well. Not very successful, not great, but also I was really happy with the way that the kind of cobblestone street came out. Like the building and the perspective side of things is tricky for me still. I think at this point in October, I was still kind of remembering my skills a bit more. And now I feel like I have a bit of a better grasp on perspective and things. And also I've been painting daily and drawing daily for like quite a few months now. So, you know, your skills just improve. It's really amazing how your skill just improves. And also I'm kind of developing a bit of my own style now. And I can see that in this that I'm, you know, not really too sure what I'm doing, but I don't mind it. Like, you know, it's part of my journey. In October, I also painted this little lobster. I really liked it. It's anatomically incorrect. Apparently lobsters have many more legs than this, but I don't care. I like it. It looks nice. My husband really liked it. I like the shadows. I like the colors. I did try to use masking fluid, and you can see that it kind of like came up with the paper a little bit. At that point, I had no clue how to use masking fluid. Now I have learned how to use masking fluid, and I haven't had those type of issues, but I actually had to go over with like a white gel pen because I just messed up the paper trying to take off the masking fluid too early before it was fully dry. With this page, you can see how crooked the sketchbook is. Next thing that I painted in here was a little snail. Again, you can see how crooked the sketchbook is. This was on the 7th of October, 2024. Then I painted a beautiful little bluebird. I'm not sure if it's a genuine, like, you know, if it's a bluebird, but it's a bird that is blue of a reference image I got from Pinterest. I really like drawing lots of these birds. I've drawn loads of birds lately, all types of birds. Here you can see like the issues that I was describing with the spine. Like it just came completely wrecked from the beginning. So I was really happy in the end that Amazon refunded my purchase, because I was really upset that it came like that. You know, you purchase art supplies and you get really excited about them, and it was just very sad that that had happened. And I remember being very upset about that at the time. And I really like this bird. I've been experimenting a lot with getting a solid drawing down first and then adding watercolor on top of it. I have also tried kind of watercolor on its own with a light pencil sketch underneath, but I really like the look of ink, like fine liner and watercolor. I'm not sure what it is. I really like just getting that like nice drawing down and getting some hatching in, and then kind of adding the watercolor in as well. But I really like this one. And this was probably around November or December of 2024. And then I went on a bit of a kick recently in January. I painted this. I finished the rest of the sketchbook in, you know, from the 13th of January onwards, I finished the sketchbook. So I painted this cupcake here, which I really liked. I think it was nice. I was happy with it. Then I painted this cactus, and I loved all the colors. Interestingly, you know, I'm not a huge fan of hot press paper, but I really liked this paper. Like the watercolor behaved really, really nicely on this paper, and I was really happy with it. So even though I've always preferred cold pressed, I love granulating colors, and I can see the difference between the granulation that I see with this color here, with the cerulean color here, and the granulation that I see in another sketchbook, which is 100% hot pressed watercolor paper. It's not quite the same color because I do have different, like obviously other colors mixed in here, but you can see the granulation much better on the cold pressed paper than you can on the hot pressed paper. And that's, you know, not to say that it doesn't still look nice. I absolutely still love it. I just love granulation, and I love the way that it looks. And so I just noticed that it happens a lot less on hot press paper, but I don't mind it. Like I said, I would 100% repurchase the sketchbook, even with all the kind of spine issues and the fact that it came poorly made. The paper was so nice that I would repurchase, and I would use it again. And then I painted this bunny, and I was really happy with the way that the texture came out, but I noticed that I did hard lines around the edges of the ears and this side of the face and the underside of the bunny's face as well. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have done something softer. And I'm still trying to figure out how to like outline with fur. I don't think I've kind of, you know, mastered that. I'm not sure how to do that successfully quite yet, but still really happy with it. It's, you know, a definite like, you know, improvement from some of the stuff that I was drawing back in 2021. So it's amazing what practice does, really. And you just get there in the end, you know, you develop your own style. I'm not going for realism. I'm trying to kind of do my own style, which is, you know, really focusing on hatching and getting the fine liner down, and then adding the watercolor as a kind of add-on to enhance the drawing. Here, again, you can see how wonky the sketchbook is. And this is an onion that I painted. I really like this onion. My mom made a joke about, I sent her a picture of the onion, and she made a joke about how it, you know, she could feel her eyes watering almost as if she was chopping the onion, because she said it looked really real. I don't necessarily think it looks really real. It's definitely not what I was going for, if that is the case, but I really like the way this came out. It's so funny, like, you know, I've just been painting the most random things. Like, I never really thought I would be painting an onion and enjoying it so much, but I had so much fun painting this. And then I painted a slice of cheese, and this was on the 14th of January of this year. And, you know, I like the color tones in this. Not the best thing I've ever painted, but I really liked painting it. It was nice, and it was a fun challenge as well, trying to get those like divots in. Not sure how, I don't think I did that very successfully, but I don't care, you know, it's just a page in a sketchbook, and it was fun, and I learned a lot from doing it. And then I painted this cup of coffee. I've got lots of pictures, like inspiration pictures on my Pinterest that are like this. I don't know why, I just really enjoy these types of images. Actually, even this one, you can see the granulation a little bit better on this part of the painting. I'm not sure if you can kind of see it too well on camera, but the granulation comes up a little bit better for this color. But yeah, I really liked it. I added some kind of white highlights in with a gel pen afterwards, and I had fun doing it, and that's really the most important thing for me, having fun doing these paintings. This is a page in my sketchbook where I painted a pepper, a bell pepper, yellow bell pepper. Again, I had a ton of fun doing it. The granulation did come up a little bit as well on this one. You can definitely see those bits on camera. I think I might have overworked the paper a little bit here. It got a little bit muddy in these kind of like in this part and this part right here, where I was trying to kind of get some deeper shadows in for the indents on the pepper. It got a bit muddy, and I lost it a little bit there, but it's fine. That's how it goes. I enjoyed it, I had fun, and at the end of the day, that's all that I care about in my sketchbooks. Then I painted this little house in some type of field somewhere. I liked it. It was tricky to kind of get the illusion of like other hills in the background. I'm not sure I've done that successfully, but I think the house looks really cute, and you get that kind of, if I look at this, I get that feeling of like maybe going on a country walk somewhere and it being really cold, and I'm walking along in some kind of green path and I see a house like this, and it makes me think, oh, it would be so lovely to live in a place like this. And getting that feeling from something that I actually painted myself is really nice. Like seeing something and being like, oh, that seems like a nice cozy home, I wish I could live there. So yeah, I really liked it. I was really happy with this. And I tried to do one of these paintings that I've seen other people do, where you kind of like get the reflection of the water, and had a hard time getting the colors to blend properly. And I'm like, here you could see that the blue and the kind of pinky tone separated. I think I struggle a little bit with like washes, and I'm not too sure. I think what I'm doing is I might be using a little bit too much water potentially, or I'm letting it dry too much. Where I live, I don't really have a lot of control over like the temperature in the room. Like I don't have a humidifier or something like that. And probably a lot of like everyday artists don't have that. So I'm sure I'm not the only person that struggled with this. If anybody else has struggled with it and has some tips of how to kind of do that, please let me know. I wouldn't say that I'm definitely not a beginner with watercolor, but I'm not, you know, I'm not like an expert. I don't think anybody is an expert really, because you're always learning something new with painting and things like that. But, you know, I just don't know kind of how to get that to not happen. I'm not sure why that happened. Some of these blended okay, not all of it did. I'm not sure if it's because, you know, the page wasn't wet enough, or who knows. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to work on that and to improve my washes a bit more. Then on the 15th of January, I painted this little still life, and I was really happy with it, except for I think I made those shadows for the grapes a little bit too dark, and some of the grapes you can see they're just like, it looks like the paper is a little bit overworked. Like it looks like almost as if the paint is kind of sitting on top of the paper. I hear people say the words like, you know, I overworked the paper or something like that, and I never really understood what they meant until I did this. And I've done that a couple other times since. I think it just happens sometimes, you know, you try to get those colors so deep. And I think for me, I was impatient in building up the layers, and I went in too heavy with deep color, and I think that's what did it. And I definitely know that's what happened in the other recent times that I've overworked the paper. So it's just learning. It doesn't really matter though, because it's just a page in a sketchbook, and I'm happy with it. I learned a lot from it. I enjoyed it. I've been painting a ton of still lifes, and I don't know why. And this is the last page in the sketchbook. This is a little painting I did of a bird and her two babies in a nest in a leaf, or I guess a tree or whatever that is. Probably it looks a bit like a leaf or like a stalk or something. I was so happy with this one. I think I just loved the way, I was really, really happy with the actual drawing itself. So I was happy with the texture that I got in with the actual bird. Like you could see the little changes in texture. You could see the differences in the hatching. I know that, you know, it's not really maybe how most people use watercolor, but I do enjoy getting a good base drawing down first, and then adding the watercolor in to kind of just add that color and get that pop. But I was still letting the watercolor behave like watercolor basically. So I was still letting the colors blend into each other here and here as well, and here and here and here. That I really like. It seems like as I'm starting to develop a bit more of my own style, I might be doing some things that maybe are quote unquote not pure watercolor things, but again, it doesn't matter because I'm doing what makes me happy to do, and it's my sketchbook. I'm sharing these things with the world. Everybody's gonna have an opinion on things, aren't they? But I like it, and it's what I get to hold, and it's what I show the people that are close to me, and they like it. So yeah, makes me happy to look at this one. I love the fact that, you know, if I go from the first page of this sketchbook to this last one, you can really see just such a difference in my style and how I've been kind of developing my own preferences and how to approach my watercolor paintings. And I'm very happy with it. And that is the entire sketchbook. I hope you guys enjoyed looking through this sketchbook. I actually have one other or a couple kind of sketchbook tour videos up on YouTube. This sketchbook was with me from 2021 to 2025, which is 4 years, and really it was only that long because I had other things going on that I was kind of prioritizing in my life at the time. But I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to try not to let sketchbooks kind of stick around with me through too much in life. I'd like to fill them up and just draw whatever, paint whatever. If all I feel like doing is swatching, then I'm just gonna swatch. If I feel like I just want to play around with my colors, I'm just gonna do that. If I want to paint an onion, I'm gonna paint an onion. The other day I painted garlic. Never thought I'd be painting these things because they seem very random, but they make me happy. And that's what all of this is about, basically. So if you're interested in looking at another sketchbook tour of a sketchbook that took me 10 years to fill up, which is shameful to say, then please go check out that video on my channel. I'm probably going to be doing other sketchbook tours because I do have lots of other sketchbooks that I'm currently working in or about to finish or have finished. So if you're interested in following along with my watercolor journey, I will have a tiny sketchbook tour coming up soon. I'm nearly finished with my tiny sketchbook. I'll show you guys what that looks like. This little guy right here, it's very, very tiny. It fits in the palm of my hand. I absolutely love this sketchbook. It has changed my life, and you can see that I have really filled it up, and it looks like I have a lot of pages left, but it really isn't a ton. And I've been painting, the paintings are so little that I go through them so quickly that it won't be long before I film a tiny sketchbook tour for this sketchbook. So if you're interested in following along in my art journey in 2025, please do consider subscribing. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've made it this far, it feels like I'm talking into the abyss at the moment. But it's okay, because someday I'll look back on these videos and it'll be a really lovely reminder of where I was at this time. But if you're here and you made it this far, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know which page you like. Let me know what random things you've been painting lately or what random things you'd like to paint next. And, you know, consider dropping this video a like if you've enjoyed it. But thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.